What's up again, everybody? Today we're going to talk about these three cards. All are very popular and all combat and abuse PXG. More specifically, your opponent's use of it and not your own. All of these cards have seen tournament play, and two are currently extremely tournament viable and just about found on every powerful team. Now, if you don't know what PXG is or know anything about what the Professor X Global does and why it's so powerful and sometimes needs combating, I'd go over to my channel and watch the video called How to Use PXG. There I explain what it is, how to use it, and how to do a couple of really cool things with it. Alright, without any further introduction, let's jump into the first card. This is Jinzo, Trap Destroyer. He is a rare 6-cost shield character from the Yu-Gi-Oh set, which was the third set to be released. It says on his card, while this monster is active, your opponent must pay 2 life to use an action die or global ability. Interesting side note on this character, it calls this character a monster, and it does so because most of the characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh set were considered monsters. If you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, that makes sense. If you don't worry about it, it just means character. So here's an example of how Jinzo is used. At the top there, let's say that represents my opponent's energy in his reserve pool. He's got a mask and a question mark. That over there represents his used pile, and his life you can see there is in my spent pile. It's on that D20, and he's currently at 20 life. Let's pretend I rolled this. So I rolled Jinzo on its character face. I pay to field him, and then I pass priority over to my opponent, and it's at this point that he can PXG. So he's got 2 masks, if you consider that question mark a mask. So in order to do that first PXG, he's going to have to pay 2 life, dropping him to 18. Okay, he's going to pay the second mask, pulling those 2 more dice over, dropping him to 16. It's an easy ability to understand, it's very straightforward, and it is very powerful. Alright, the next card we're going to look at is a popular one. This is Oracle Master Investigator. She is from the World's Finest set. She's a 4-cost mask character. Her ability says, while Oracle is active, your opponents pay 1 energy more to use each global ability. Now, specifically, that is 1 generic energy, so you can pay any type of energy in addition to the one that you have to pay to activate the global itself. So here's an example of how Oracle can be used to slow down or even completely stop my opponent's ramp using PXG, or him using PXG. My opponent has 2 question marks in his reserve pool, and he has 4 dice in his used pile. He's planning on using those 2 question marks to move all 4 of those white dice into his prep area by PXGing twice. Let's pretend I roll that. So I have 4 energy myself and Oracle on one of its sides. So I pass. He passes over to me, ends his turn. I place Oracle out, then I can buy some stuff. Let's say I throw some money out there and pick something up. Look, I'll pick up that Elf Thief. But I pass over to my opponent, at which point he has to now pay 2 energy just to move over 2 dice. Whereas before he could ramp for 4 dice, now he can only ramp for 2. Alright, this final card is a great card by itself, but also pairs extremely well with Oracle. The 2 of them work together almost flawlessly. This is a 2-cost mask character that says if you have energy in your reserve pool, you may field it for free, and notice it's got a 1 fielding cost on all of its sides. So the only way you don't field this for free for some reason is if you don't have energy when you're rolling these, so I guess you pull 4 of these at the same time and roll them all as characters. So it should field for free every time. And then it says, when it is fielded, you may use 1 of the energy from your opponent's reserve pool. So if you combine this with Oracle, then you put your opponent in this situation where they have to save 2 dice at least just to activate PXG. You field an Elf Thief, steal 1 of their energy, and then they're down to 1 and they can't ramp at all. And because Elf Thief is so cheap, you can do this multiple times a turn because you can buy multiple of these in a turn. So this 2-card combo really rules the roost when it comes to cutting off PXG and killing your opponent's ramp. So here's an example of how Oracle and Elf Thief can be used and combined to do some really, really nasty stuff. As you see, my opponent has 2 in his reserve pool, 4 in his used pile. So I draw that, and let's say I roll that, and let's add the stuff that I had in prep as well because I had ramped the previous turn. So obviously I have energy in my reserve pool. That fields for free, and when that goes onto the field, I steal his mask, and I use it to PXG on my own. So I didn't even really need these other masks because my opponent was kind enough to give me his own. But what I can do then is buy another Oracle. I could buy another Elf Thief if I wanted to. And then I can use my own PXG, and he's not left with a mask, and he's also not left with enough energy even to pay the 2. So he's completely locked out of PXG. So as you can see, while PXG is powerful and important in the game, it does have ways of being combated and stopped completely, and those are things that you need to think about when you are building a team, and thinking about whether or not you have an alternate way of ramping if someone does bring this to the table and you have brought and rely on PXG. I hope this video helped you understand how to use these cards and how powerful they can be. And if there's anything I left out, or if there's a card or a couple of cards that you think do the same job that I didn't mention, throw those in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.